Thank you for tuning into Mrs. Danielle DeVita. I am a relationship and femininity coach, and my goal is to help both men and women be in relationships that's best for them. So this video is not going to be as long as I wanted because, as you can see, it looks like it's starting to rain on me. And I apologize about the noise. It seems like a little bit few cars are driving by. However, I'm still going to do my video. I did my video last month. A lot of those videos was about wisdom. How to have wisdom as a woman, because I talk about being a wife, and one of the acronyms for wife is wisdom. W is wisdom. And if you go into Proverbs, it talks about wisdom is coming from her mouth. So you want to be a person that shows wisdom if you're trying to be a wife. If you are married, you still want to show wisdom if that's not something you've learned, when to say things, when not to say things. Now, we're not talking about wisdom today. What we are going to be talking about is a new series I have, is the fruit of the Spirit. And if you don't know, there's 9 fruit of the Spirit. So one of them is love, joy, peace, patience, gentleness, goodness, kindness, and self-control. And I don't know if I mentioned peace, but there's 9. So you can go to Galatians 5. You can take a look into that. It's in the last few verses. It talks about the fruit of the Spirit, and there are 9. Some people have said that there's a little bit more if you look at different interpretations, but there's 9 that I know of. And we're going to talk about each one of them. And the first one is love. If you've watched enough of my videos, you probably know what I speak about with love. And I'll also talk about, if you're a woman that's trying to find a good man, you're going to talk about, or you're going to look for a man who shows love through his words and his actions. So it's not enough just for a man to show love through his words and his actions. You must show love as well with how you say things. And it's highly important, because for men, when they feel that you love them, it's going to be through your respect. So how you respect them is how you love them. So are you married? Are you in a relationship? And if you were to ask your man, do you respect him? If you asked him, hey, do you feel like I respect you? Do you feel like I love you? See his reaction. Even if you don't have to ask, sometimes you know that you're saying things or you're doing things, because sometimes as women, we can be petty. And we're upset with something they did, so we're petty. And that is not an act of love. Or you may actually say something under your breath. That's not something that is showing love. Okay, so again, love through your words and your actions. And the goal is to show love through your words and actions. And you want the things that you say to be, he can remember the sweet things you're saying, not always the negative things. And you want to outweigh that, so that everything you say out your mouth isn't going to be something he loves, especially if it's coming from you guys needing to communicate and talk, and everything's not going to be a great and positive conversation. Sometimes you have to have difficult conversations, but how you say things with tact, and in the manner in which you say it, where you say it, is highly important. And this is something I continue to learn. My goal is to exhibit the fruit of the Spirit through my marriage, through all of my relationships, because as you know, you want to show your love to your children, to people you work with, and everything. And of course, you show love differently to different people. How I show love to my husband is not going to be the same way I show to my children, my parents, because one is romantic, one is familial, and one is, a work environment. But all 3 things, we need to show the love of Christ if we say that we are Christians. If you're not Christian, you still want to show this type of love that you have for people as a whole. And sometimes it's hard. Sometimes and again, it's not necessarily about what you say, it's what you do. So I'll give you a perfect example of how to show love. This is also maybe a thing of self-control, but a lot of times women have an issue with being able to hold their tongue. So they say things that's out of love. So that's why I'm going to talk about love here in this manner. So let's get started. All right. Mother's Day just happened. So congratulations for those who are new mothers, those who are already mothers. Happy Mother's Day. Well, it was Mother's Day, so happy belated Mother's Day. But so after my husband pretty much spoiled me. All right. On Mother's Day, I had breakfast in bed. I had dinner in bed. So I just pretty much laid down, relaxed, and of course we went to church and things like that. But I had a great Mother's Day. But the next day, now mind you, Saturday I spent all day kind of like cleaning up, and I had other errands and things I had to do that day. But I spent all morning really like cleaning up and doing the things that I didn't get a chance to do. You know, since I've gotten back from out of town, which I have to talk about that. I went to South Africa and it was amazing. So I have a lot to talk about in regards to relationships with that. However, the day after Mother's Day, the kitchen was a wreck. And I wanted to be upset. I wanted to be like, all this cleaning I did yesterday and, you know, on Saturday, and then, you know, it's dirty. And so Monday when I came home, I'm like, man, all these dishes that he did from the night before, you know, because I didn't go in the kitchen because he pretty much spoiled me that day. You can just stay in the room, you can relax for the evening, and I'll have, you know, breakfast or dinner for you. And so what I've learned is, okay, he did all this cooking for me. He took care of the kids, he did everything. So do I want to be upset after he spent all this time? So maybe he's tired because he literally spent all day taking care of our 3 children, doing all these things, and no, he didn't have time to do the dishes, or no, he didn't feel like it. So why would I get upset? What if I spend all Father's Day doing something for him and now I'm tired and he's upset because I didn't get a chance to clean the dishes? So I said to myself, you know what, this is my time, this is my prayer time, because I don't really like, no one really likes to clean. Like, now once I do it, I actually feel good. I like the clean, but just the idea of having to get up and do and have these tasks to do, I didn't want to do it. But I said, you know what, this is my time I can pray, this is my time I can be by myself, do my things, have the kids go do something else while I get that going, and they won't mind waiting a little extra for dinner until I can kind of clean up the kitchen and do what I like to do. So instead of getting upset, I saw the good in it, and I saw that all the good that he was trying to do for me, my husband, I mean. And so instead of getting upset, lashing out, I could have created an argument, and then the day would have been upsetting, rather than he comes home and he's like, wow, it's clean, I was gonna get to. And I'm like, like, yeah, he probably was a few days later. But the thing about it is realizing that he's a good man. There's no reason to be upset. I can just take care of it, move on, and we have a happy day. And we did. And sometimes he's kind of shocked that I come to that kind of conclusion, like, okay, you didn't have a problem washing the dishes, you're not upset. And not to say that I lash out before that he thinks that I should be upset, but sometimes people in general, we think we're going to get a certain response based on something. But God works with me often saying, hey, make sure, and I play these things out in my head. How do you want to respond? Is this Christ-like? Are you exhibiting the fruit of the Spirit? Is this what the wife that you need to be, you know? And so sometimes I surprise myself because I want to say something else. My flesh wants to say something that's unbecoming. And then I don't say anything. And so I've realized that there's so many times I want to say and do things, but I don't end up doing it. And of course, many people will be surprised by that. But of course, I don't say it because I allow the Holy Spirit to lead and guide me and tell me what to say and when to do certain things. So I just wanted to mention that. Again, like I said, it's starting to rain on me a little bit, so I don't want the video to be too long. But the goal here is, before you say anything, before you do anything, you could be upset. There's no sin to be upset. How you display your anger, how you say the things that you're going to say, the way in which you say it, the manner, where, and all those things is what matters, right? So you could think something. Now, the goal is to not think things that are going to be impure and things like that. And the reason why I'm saying that is because when you say things that are, or when you think things that are inappropriate, the more you think things that are inappropriate or that's unbecoming, you're gonna eventually say it. So I would suppress those thoughts and say, hey, you know what? That's unbecoming. I don't wanna say it. I don't wanna do it. So, and that's what is important. That's what you need to do to make sure that you don't think things too much that are negative, because you're gonna eventually act on it. All right? So I hope that you show love in all your relationships. Again, I'm talking about marriage and relationships, but in all your relationships, I think you can learn to exhibit the fruit of the Spirit, and this is love. Tomorrow we will talk about joy. So again, I mentioned there's love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, gentleness, self-control, things like goodness and faithfulness and things like that. So again, we're going to talk about joy tomorrow, because there's a lot of things to be joyful about. I often talk about being approachable, and some of that is you're having joy, even in times that it's not good. So we're going to talk about that, especially when it comes to marriage and relationships, because a lot of times people are with their mouth poked out and letting everyone know how their relationships are at the time, even though it's unpleasant. All right. So again, I love you. Have a great day. Bye. Femininity Perk 101. So a lot of times women say that you can't afford me. And if you want to be a feminine woman, realize that you are not an escort. And committed relationships ought not to be transactional. As you rest in your femininity and learn your worth, you will realize that the men you are with should see you as invaluable and priceless like no other. And yes, you can have shopping sprees, 5-star dinners, and trips, but those things won't make you different and won't set you apart. Things that are priceless and invaluable, money can't buy. Money can't buy peace in a relationship. Money can't buy your love. Money can't buy your joy, your joyful spirit. It cannot buy your gentleness, kindness, your self-control is in controlling your emotions and how your responses to things, your personality, your attitude or mindset as a whole. If you notice, these are also fruit of the Spirit from the Bible, right? If you're looking to be a Proverbs 31 woman, you definitely want to make sure you have these. So if you're having talking points of you can't afford me, realize that these are talking points of a basic chick or a modern woman. You want to be different. So get on your feminine journey today. You can also visit MrsDanielleDeVita.com or visit me on other social media platforms.